mahogany the old people used to use a twig of the mahogany to chew on, and they used it kind of to brush their teeth with. And they chew the end of it up, they would rub it on the teeth and clean the teeth. They didn't have no toothbrushes around back in the old days. Huh. And that's the way a lot of them would, and it's got a real taste, kind of like some kind of chewing gum, like it's a pepperminty.
Are you sure mahogany is the word you want to use here?
We call it birch.
Yeah, birch is very different than mahogany.
Birch bark.
Yeah.
Yeah, birch bark is what I mean.
So, could you eat it?
That's true. Birch bark is good. There used to be a gum that they would sell in the old country convenience stores that had kind of a brown and red package that was birch flavored gum. And it's really good.
I can take you out here and show you some, and you can chew it, and it'd be good.
Yeah, well, let's go out.
But it ain't no. You can't go out here and start gnawing on these trees. Most of them, Sibylla, you can't stand it. You know.
So you don't.
Now, about the only thing I know of that gnaws bark on is maybe an old horse or something about starved to death. He will gnaw all the bark off a tree to get some kind of minerals he needs.
So you don't eat it, you just chew on it?
I mean, when you get reduced to eating bark, you only last you only last string. You get down out pretty low when you go gnawing on bark, you know.
So tell us about this stuff that you used to call peppermint but wasn't peppermint.
It was something that grew down around the spring that had a real pepperminty smell. And they would get it and they would boil it and make tea out of it. Peppermint tea, they called it.
What did it look like?
It was a little green plant that grew close to the ground, is all I meant that. Probably some kind of mint. But it was good. And plus, it's another thing that grows out here in the woods. It's called plus, I know you got your wild blackberries, you got your wild raspberries, you got your wild strawberries, you got hazelnuts, you got walnuts, you got chinky pins, you got all this stuff that you can gather at the right time of year in the fall. But now it's wintertime, and it ain't much out there you can eat.
Hey, could you tell us about goodies?
Goodies is the thing that comes out of a black walnut, and the other kind of walnuts, you crack a hole and you get that goodie, and it's good. We call them goodies because that's the way we've always called them. But it's really the kernel that, inside the nut. But
what's the proper way for harvesting goodies?
You just take a hammer and take a nut and crack it.
But how do you get how do you get it so that it's good to eat? Because they're in the trees. It's got to be dried out. Well, they'll fall off, and you got to gather them up, and then you got to get the hull off of them and let them dry. Oh,
then after they dry, you can take and crack them with a hammer, and get the inside to be real good.
Well, how do you gather them and?
You gather them and scatter them out on the ground. Let the sun dry them good.
For how long?
Well, you can tell when they get dry.
Yeah.
Because then same way with the old people used to dry the apples and everything. I remember when we was kids, Mama used to peel the apples and quarter them up and slice them, and, take the core out of them, and she would spread them out on newspaper and put them up on top of the roof, and we'd have to take something like cheesecloth or screen wire and put over top to keep the flies off of it, and the sun would dry them apples. And she could just keep them from now on and make apple pies out of them whip in the winter. And dry them. People, they know how to do all that stuff.
Can you tell us about what Ferrum was like when you were a kid, like with dirt roads and stuff?
Well, Ferrum still, it had a hard top road, but it was real narrow. And gradually, as time went on, they bypassed Ferrum and just left it, a little town there by itself. And most everything goes around Ferrum now except the college,
But did people used to live in houses with dirt floors in Ferrum?
I lived in a house with a dirt floor.
Can you tell us about that?
It was it fell down now, but it had it was called a slave quarters. It was what it was at one time, and slaves lived in it. It had the red clay floor, red dirt, clay dirt floor, and where it had been weighted down and packed, it was just hard, it's raw. And they had the cabins. I remember. It's 2 cabins that had a chimney in the middle, and they had a fireplace in each room. You know what a fireplace is when you put logs to burn. That's what they heated with. You had to walk out of one part and go to the outside to go in the other part of the house. And they had I remember they had a floor in the attic. That's where we slept, and we slept on what they called not feather ticks, feather mattresses. But we slept on what the old straw mattress. All it was just straw packed in, like a mattress. And Mama always made quilts and things, so we had quilts for covering.
So how did you get upstairs? Were there
a little rickety step you had to really watch, and I remember it was real big cracks in the floor, and where you was little, your feet was so small, you had to watch how you stepped. If you didn't, you'd step down through the crack. And it had I remember that old house had white oak shingles on the roof, and when it was been dry, they would draw up, and it snowed, it would blow right in on us. Wake up in the morning and be snow on the bed. We survived. We survived. Now we'll go out there and look at the chickens if you want to.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, you're on.
We sit around for entertainment, pluck on the banjo sometimes, just to aggravate people. We'll try to play an old tune called When the Train Comes, or what's the name? When the Train Comes. Sometimes we sing it too. Oh, when the train comes along, oh, when the train comes along, I'll meet you at the station when the train comes along.
This is just a regular light.
That's all, folks.